What's up everybody, Coach Driver from Strong Dragon Training, and I'm back again with another short instructional video for you guys on the Bulgarian Squats. This exercise happens to be one of my most favorite, not just favorite, but most favorite exercises out there to do, and especially when it comes to leg day, which is not my favorite day of the workout week. This exercise takes my cake. I absolutely love it. Not only do I get an amazing quad and hamstring workout out of it, I also get an amazing glute workout. So here's what's happening with this exercise. What you are trying to aim to do here. As you saw in the video, I have a fairly stretched out posture. So what you're looking for on this one, you can either go very narrow to where your knee pretty much is perpendicular to the ground and put pressure just on the front leg. Now I feel those and I don't, and I feel a little bit out of control with that one, balance and everything, because I have longer legs. So the way that I depicted in the video a few seconds ago is the way that I prefer to do it. I teach how to do it, and I find is the most effective. And over the years, I've seen great results out of this style. Now, what you're looking for on this one, if you're doing it by yourself for the very first time, the leg that's on the bench, or the back leg, the support leg, whatever you want to call it, this leg can have the foot either sitting with the toe, so the toe can be planted on the bench itself, or you can have the foot flat. The reason why I don't put it flat is because I find that if I put weight, dumbbells in my hand, and I do it with weight, I find a little bit of discomfort in the stretched out foot, a little bit of cramping, and throws me off balance a little bit. If my toes are dug into the bench, I have the most balance possible in this exercise. So I can keep it clean, I can keep it straight, boom, I'm good to go. Now, moving forward a little bit up into the quadricep, or the thigh of the supporting leg. I'm still on the back leg of the exercise. What you're looking for here is just a mild stretch. You don't want to feel pressure on this leg. If you feel like you're either pushing off of this leg or there's weight on it and you find too much contraction in the quad or the hamstring, you're doing the exercise wrong. That means that when you're doing it, you're leaning too far back. And this causes most of the weight to go back on the leg. Now that poor leg is holding you from falling backwards. Think of it just as a stick, a very thin stick that is able to keep you pushed forward. That's it. You put weight on that stick, you risk breaking it, right? So you are now with that leg in a very vulnerable position and you risk pulling a muscle. Don't put your weight back. The only thing you should be feeling is in the hip and the quadricep area, or the front area of your thigh. You should feel a little bit of a stretch, and that's about it. If you don't even feel that, bonus points. But if you do feel a little bit of a stretch, you're doing the exercise right. Now, the leg that is supporting you, the leg that's actually doing the work, the single leg that is squatting, that one, just like the traditional books say, your knee should not go over the toe. So when you're squatting down, if some of you guys have ever listened to the old traditional squat exercise and things like that, your knee should never go over that toe. Now, I'm going to enforce that rule here because I know there's a lot of beginners that are interested in these kinds of exercise, and I would rather be safe than sorry. There is a way, and it is anatomically and physiologically correct and right to let the knee go over your toe in a squat or Bulgarian squat position rather, but you gotta be very careful. It needs to be in a very controlled environment. You need to know exactly what you're doing, because yes, when the knee goes over your toe, now you're putting a lot of pressure on that kneecap, a lot of pressure on that quad, and you risk tearing something, breaking, pulling, snapping, etc, etc, etc. So as a rule of thumb, especially for the new people out there, do not let the knee go over the toe. So when you're squatting down and you're looking down at your knee, you should be able to see the tip of your toe and the knee not covering it. Doesn't matter where you are in the position, you should always be having a view of the tip of that toe. Then you know you're correct. Now, going back to the Bulgarian squat, doing this movement, you should be going down to 90 degrees at the knee, right? The deeper, the better. The deeper you go, the more you activate right into the glutes in the back, and you get that hamstring working, you get the gluteus maximus, the minimus, everything working together to push you all the way back. Now, as you're going down as well, you notice that my body is a little bit lean forward. Be very careful with this one. You're leaning from the hips. So when you lean forward, there's a difference here, so you guys can see me a little bit better. There's a difference if I lean like this forward or if I lean like this forward. Notice the difference? I'm creating the hinge right at the hips. that's where you want the bending forward to be. That's where you have the more control. So that, together with a tight core, you'll be able to have a safe exercise for your lower back. Remember, you bend, especially with 70 or 100-pound dumbbells in your hand, you risk pulling that back unless you hinge it right at the hip and you have everything under control. Now, I'm going down, I'm coming up in this Bulgarian squat. As you notice, at no point am I leaning back or I'm straightening up too much. Now, how do you know you're doing it right? Again, I'm going back to that support leg. You should not feel pressure on this leg. You should not feel strain. You should not feel pressure. You shouldn't feel anything. That's your cue that you're doing the Bulgarian squat correctly. So you're going nice and deep. You're coming up all the way. You're pushing through with the heel. Don't let the heel come off the floor. Push through with the heel like you're trying to dig it through the floor and come on up. Again, the knee, I've mentioned this in multiple videos before, a joint should never lock out. There's very few instances where I will encourage my clients to lock out the joint. Very few instances. And this one is not one of them. Do not lock out that knee joint at any point. So come on up all the way as you saw into that video right before the knee straightens out to a lock and then go back down nice and deep. Now, I'm going to touch just a little bit on the depth over here because we're going back to squats, and this is pretty much a single-legged squat, right? If you really want to get down to the bare bones of it, it's essentially a single-legged squat with a support in the back so you don't fall back, okay? I'm just going to touch on this briefly. I'm going to make another video because this is a whole chapter lesson in its own, but it is nothing wrong going 3/4 of the way down, going parallel to the floor, or going deep, aka ass to grass. When it comes to squats, when it comes to this, they are all correct. There's tons of videos out there. Oh, the guy is quarter squatting. Oh, the guy is doing nothing. Oh, the guy is doing... There is a purpose for each and every level of that squat, aka you target different muscles, okay? Going all the way ass to grass, you get into that glute, the hamstring, not so much into the quad, but you have that glute pushing you back up. Going all the way parallel to the floor, now you have a little bit more of an isometric engagement of the quadriceps and the hamstrings, holding you at the bottom and then pushing up, again, some glute engagement. Going only 3/4 of the way down or quarter squatting puts a lot of emphasis on the quadriceps. So it's a different form of training for every situation you are in. So, I'm going to encourage you guys, when you see these videos, when you see these guys making fun of, oh, he's quarter squatting, oh, he's only going halfway down, or he's going a quarter of the way down, there is a purpose. Now, I'm not saying that some people don't do dumb mistakes and they have no idea what the hell they're doing and they're just going quarter squats because they put too much weight on it. That's a whole different story. But if somebody who knows what the hell they're doing in the gym and they're quarter squatting, they might be quarter squatting for a reason, so don't jump to judgment right away. Anyways, that was my rant for that. I'll get into more details about it in a different video, but now back to the Bulgarian squat. So be very careful breathing out of this exercise. As you go down, you breathe in. As you come up, you breathe out. Always think of it like every time the muscle engages or you have to push yourself up, it's like the breathing helps you propel upwards, right? So give it that huge breathe, keep that core tight, keep the lower back engaged. The chest should always be facing forward. You should be seeing yourself in the mirror. You look amazing. If you have a mirror, look at yourself, you're beautiful. And keep the Bulgarian squat nice and deep. Now, I personally prefer to go nice and deep. Again, there is a purpose for each level, but especially with the Bulgarian squat, I always prefer to keep it deep and get that glute engaged because I found amazing results with some of my female clients and even the male clients that I've gone to get to go on competitions and things like that. The glutes get very well defined as one of the exercises that really helps the glute definition to make it more firm, more chiseled, etc., etc. So I always encourage this to go all the way down. Of course, you gotta hit both legs the same way, so do always be careful. One thing I'm gonna quote you and note you guys on this one is the foot should never ever be sideways. So what I mean about that, let me see if I can just get a little bit, I'm sorry I'm moving the camera over here, but this I didn't present in the video and I want you guys to see it clearly. You can have the foot like this in the back. You can have the foot like this if your flexibility allows. Never have the foot this way. This is one of the biggest mistakes because now you have a very awkward torque on your hip. You're requesting for your body to do this. Now your hip is in such a vulnerable position. Even if I lean forward and I go down, I can feel my hip just yelling at me and wanting to beat me with a stick as a, what the hell are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? That is unnecessary pressure on the hip, so please never ever ever keep that posture right on this. Doesn't matter how flexible you are, doesn't matter what you don't feel in the hip, or if your hip is very flexible, do not risk it. I'm glad your hip is flexible, but it's not so flexible because when you put weight on it, you're just gonna strain it for no reason and you're risking it for no reason. So try this exercise out, guys. Like I said, it's one of my favorite when it comes to leg day. I always try to one way or another include this exercise in. It's top of the line. I feel the burn. I feel it everywhere. Glutes, hips, quads, hamstrings. It's an amazing exercise. Give it a try if you haven't tried already your exercises, and let me know, please, what did you feel in it? How did you like it? Where did you feel it? And especially after a couple of exercises, a couple of workouts, let me know, how are the results? Did you feel a little bit of a difference? How did you feel the soreness the next day? Drop me a comment below and let me know. I always love to find out about how you guys felt the exercise, or if you come up with another way of doing this exercise a little bit better, a little bit more effective, I would love to learn from that as well, guys. Finally, if you have any questions and you're not certain about it, please drop me a line, drop me a message. I will answer within 24 hours and will gladly help you out. My name is Dragos from Strong Dragon Training. Hit that like and subscribe button. I'm going to be posting more videos like this, and I'm going to try to help everybody out there where the gyms are closed and open, give as much info as possible, because knowledge is power, and especially in the fitness field. You have all this heavy equipment, and if you don't use it properly, you are risking to hurt yourself. Until the next video, guys, stay fit, stay healthy,